All right, we're going to show you uh, part of a audit. It's actually an analysis we did under a program where we offer free evaluation and analysis based on you submitting a monthly mortgage statement. That's usually the indicator of something seriously wrong in a file. If it's nothing wrong with the monthly statement, we're usually going to shy away from the file because it's just really a waste of the client's money. And again, we're looking for substance, something of value, and we're usually going to detect it in a monthly statement. Now, here we have a statement from Carrington, and I can tell you already the statement looks very, very similar to the statements of the market leader when it comes to foreclosure mills, and that would be SPS out of Utah. It looks just like the SPS statement, so we're going to raise that as a question. But more importantly, um, the systems that use these, that create these kind of statements, those systems, of course, it's mass produced, but those systems are based on the company database, servicing database. And what you have are a multitude of fields that are dropping into different forms that are entered by the staff, their staff. But the creation of this statement would have required them to set up dates as a beg your pardon, 8-digit number. Dates in computer language they're all across the board read the same way. They're read as numeric values. So a date that's spelled out in text is not going to be read by a computer. And a date but the computer will recognize a date that has a 2-digit year, such as 25. It'll also recognize 2025. So it's important that they use a 4-digit year when they create the database. And what you see here is they're using a 2-digit year, so that's a red flag. You can't use a 2-digit year. It's a violation of Dodd-Frank and the Y2K New Millennium legislation, Dodd-Frank legislation they passed to address this. And then again, is that a compelling argument that they're using a total of 6 digits or a 2-digit year? It is compelling because when they set these up, they have to be set up consistently. Here we have a 6-digit and 2-digit year. And over here, look at this, we have 8 digits and the year's actually spelled out. It's the full 2025. So something's going on. There's no doubt about it. Let's see if we can figure out what it is. And what we have here are the dates that we see just the way they're lined up. 2, 12, 17, 25, and then 1, 1, 26. And we're going to tie it out right there. I don't know if you can see it. 1, 16, 26. I guess that has to do with a late fee being due if the payment was made. It's a late payment date. So 1217 set off by 126 set off by 11626. So it just first glance you can see 17 days left to the end of that year. This year that'd be about 14, 15 days, correct? Let's see what the computer says. It's reading them just the way we enter them. No, it's reading it as 36,510 days. That's over 100 years. That's what the computer's reading. And also the 11626 set off by the 120, it's reading that as 36,540 days, or another 100 years credit back. And look what happens when you subtract the two. If I subtract these two values in terms of days, I get 30 net, which means no one's ever going to see this. It's never going to be unraveled. We also found in this file a per diem, and that per diem is 8672. Let's test that and see if that works. Well, 8672 on the 30 days would be 2601.45 interest. Was the interest say over there? Bingo. So we're right on that. So now the question is, what is the cost of this consumer, or what are they profiting? How are they profiting on this consumer's dime at 8672 per diem? Let's find out. There you go. They're picking up a credit of 33,165, 3,166. That's a credit, and there's some kind of recapture going on here, going the other way. That'd be for another 3,168. Folks, you got well over 6.3 million dollars being earned out on this poor family's dime. And one could say, well, okay, good, but no harm, no foul. Well, it's deceptive, and everything on that statement should be disclosed, and anything that involves the IRS and taxable events and 1099s, which borrowers get at the end of the foreclosure, it really should be disclosed. And how that plays into the consumer, he'd sure like to know. But nonetheless, in order to earn that out, they have to do something called tolling, which means they have to stay in the deal a certain amount of time, regardless of the borrower's current or in default, and they drag these cases out. In this case, though, what are you left with? At the end of the day, you take these two values for a credit and a debit recapture based on the per diem, based on the dating malfunction, and if you subtract those two and use them as a set off, let's see what we get. Isn't that coincidence? You get 260145, which is all anyone will ever see. That means this thing will never ever be unraveled. It means no one will ever pick it up unless, of course, you have auditors that did this for 30 years and know exactly what's happening. So your net between these two backdated dates is their monthly interest charge for that year, and that'd be for 30 days, 260145. It's hard to stomach. It's hard to believe this is happening, but this is just one of the many things we found in this file. We're going to share with you some other things that we found. They're all contentious arguments. They're all valid arguments, and it brings to this case merit for why the foreclosure should be set aside and why this case should be heard for a release of lien. Let's keep going.